What
Sure, if you
made
don't mind.
you what made you want to, well, when did you start your career, right? In this field, and then what made you do that?
Um, so when I was a single mom, I was a massage therapist. I had a couple different offices when I came to Jersey. And then after I got married in 2006, I decided to close the offices and I started teaching massage and I started teaching anatomy and physiology at a school. What I quickly noticed was that I loved it. Teaching is for me, it's who I am. I never feel like I work a day when I teach anything. So what I realized that a lot of these young women especially were hurting in some way. And what I wound up doing was mentoring them and I loved it. It felt so good to me.
Yeah.
I felt like I was like, a second mom to them, whatever. And then it just grew from there. I had a mentor who does what I do, who did corporate training. They got me into working for the colleges, which is how I got to you when I did your training. And I never felt more alive in my life and more happy when I would leave at even a 6 to 8 hour day. I would go home and I would feel empowered, beautiful, like
Yeah.
energy, and just lifted. Like it was,
Yeah.
it was a gift to me. And I just decided I was going to do more and more of it. And each year went by, I got out of a little bit more out of the corporate side of it, and then just started helping women, doing, events, things like that.
Okay.
You
Now,
came to mind.
yeah, how difficult was it to start your own business? Because I know you're LLC.
It wasn't
now.
difficult at all.
Okay.
And I still worked for the college while I did that for a while. And then just slowly got into it. I was busier than they could keep me, and I made way more money. So it was a no-brainer.
Right.
And it was all word of mouth. I didn't have to do any advertising. I did, really well with it.
Okay, because I know that sometimes because we all have businesses, and it's like sometimes it's like a struggle, especially now. Now you have to have like 2 6-figure incomes.
Yeah, talk
It's
to me now. It's a different story.
It's very difficult. So it's like you're trying to find time to start your business and do the things that make you feel good. But then it's like, okay, well, I can't do this because
Right.
I gotta work and I gotta,
Right.
And when I first started doing the coaching, I felt I had such imposter syndrome so bad. Like, how in the world am I going to coach these people? I'm still this person,
Right.
like I'm not perfect enough. But that's exactly why
It's
we meshed.
successful.
It's exactly
Yeah.
why. Because I show my vulnerability. I show exactly where I've been. I had no self-esteem. I came from 5 girls that, used to beat each other up, like not physically all the time,
Yeah.
but all the time.
Yeah.
But emotionally beat each other up. My father was very hard on us. He's, not the I love you type of dad. And my mom kind of was let him do whatever, and I didn't have any self-esteem whatsoever. So when I even started my own podcast on that, like, Finding Your Worth, it's called, what's my podcast called?
A worth in progress.
Worth in
A worth
progress.
in progress.
What is the matter with me? I have so many things that revolve around the word worth. So my
But see, that just goes
nonprofit
to
is
show that I
worth-
do pay
Yes,
attention,
thank
Yes,
So Worth
that's
in
great.
Progress started as me with imposter syndrome. And then by the time I finished it, because I haven't recorded since my mom passed, by the time I did that, I was like, whoa, wow, I'm really okay now.
Right.
I'm okay, and I don't feel like I'm an imposter because I'm not trying to be something that I'm not.
Yes.
Or that college graduate that has to have her master's in psychology in order to help you. No, I don't.
You
I
have
don't,
life
because I've been
lessons.
you, so I know I can help.
And
you.
that's the thing that a lot of times that we, which is a lot of why I wanted to start the podcast, is because we're so busy like running our everyday lives that, like, there's things that we have imperfections. There's things that we struggle with. There's things that, maybe it makes us sit in the car and cry for a little bit. Maybe we don't want to be a mom one day
Right.
or a week or
Right.
a month. Maybe we don't want to talk to people, maybe we just don't want to do anything. Maybe we hate everybody, And I think that,
Yeah.
and there's times when
Yeah.
maybe it's the opposite. Maybe we
You
have a
know-
lot of love to give at times.
And we get defensive when people judge that. I don't do that anymore either. So when people judge my Mariah, like my family makes jokes about Mariah all the time, and I think it's hysterical. People will go on my Facebook and post a picture of Mariah Carey and like being like a crazy diva, and I laugh. It's not like I make fun of myself. You don't even get that
have
power.
to. Right.
Exactly. You have
Right.
zero power there because I do it all day long.
Right.
You know, and when I embraced every part of myself, the imperfection, I never thought I was a perfectionist until I realized that I was the way that I was a perfectionist was how I presented myself. I had to present myself perfectly and, pretend that I know it all and did it all. And I don't, I still don't. And I'll never present myself that way again. So you get the flaws, and I'm perfectly okay with it. So anything you think of me.
But I think that's what,
Right.
But that's what I think why you attract certain people is when you can present yourself. You still present yourself very educated. You know how to speak. You know how to bring the crowds.
Yeah.
Yes, but you also are saying this is who I am. This is it. I deal with life things. There's things that
like this year
I'm
since
fucked up,
the last like 2
at
months. I
times.
said this is like what you just said. My new thing is, what do you think of me is none of my business.
Right.
Now, what I think about myself. Oh, Dejana loves herself. No matter with all imperfection, with my flawness, with my fat, when I skinny, when I got wigs, when I got no wig. I just, you know what I'm saying? I don't care. It's like, why you do this? I'm like, is it your business?
Yeah.
Does it cost you money? Because this is why I'm not trying to give them the energy, but it's like, why not?
Yeah.
What can I do it? They do it, and I think they look cute.
Yes.
Like,
and I never judge any woman,
Exactly.
especially women. Like I never judge a woman. You don't wear makeup. Who cares? Then
Exactly.
don't wear makeup.
Right.
My partner barely wears makeup. The girl that's in the car with me, she barely wears a net. She doesn't wear makeup much, and you don't need to be. But then when somebody comes to me and is like, you got to wear makeup all the time. My Mariah is the first bitch up.
Yeah.
She's like, maybe you should wear makeup then. I wanted to get my little dig in, and I'm like, you know what? It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
This is who I am.
Yeah.
This is who I am. Not saying now, like I'm at the point now in my life where I don't need to like go everywhere with makeup on or whatever, but I did for a long time.
Yeah.
I did not realize how much of a perfectionist I was.
And that's so I can actually understand that because I'm a perfectionist.
Yes.
I'm the
But you're a
opposite.
perfectionist in
in a different kind. Yeah.
Yes.
The Virgos. Yeah. I always.
Where things have to be in order and things have to be.
Even if it doesn't look like it's in order,
Yes.
in my mind it has to be in order. And it's like if my name is on something, I want it to be right. If I'm doing something, I like to do like to 100% in any aspect of my life.
Yes.
But we fell short.
So I've listened. Well, he passed away. Wayne Dyer.
Yeah.
That's how I started.
I love it.
Louis
I love him.
Hayes, all those. I started listening.
I started with Joyce Meyer.
She's good.
Yeah.
The Christian,
Years,
but then,
a long time.
yes.
Yeah.
And then I went to Wayne. That my ex-husband was like, oh, you listen to your boyfriend? That's how exactly. My ex-husband was a little nuts. I said, yeah, he bald head and blue eyes just like you. So yeah, I guess so. I got a thing for those. Because I had to give him a dig. Because he even like when I'm listening to something like that makes no sense what you're saying. But I had to give him a little dig because so that's how I started. Like he said, what people think of you is none of your business.
Yeah, it really isn't.
Like, stop being a
it's hard to
helicopter
learn that.
parent. Stop doing this.
Yeah.
It's gonna
But we
work
come
out.
from a place of where we want to be accepted.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
if we want to be if we're accepted, that means okay, we feel good that somebody actually wants to be around us.
But I think that's
with
also
us.
part of that conditioning we spoke
It's
to.
conditioning.
You know?
Now
It's
I don't
you
care.
can't go
I
out of
am
the
such
house
a
looking
loner.
like that. You can't,
exactly.
treat that person nice. She has to be first because if she doesn't, she's going to cry. Like those type of things. So I do think it's a part of conditioning as well. You know,
No, definitely.
Absolutely.
I think you should teach a kid to be positive no matter what situation comes out.
But so positive cannot be attained all the time, right?
Okay.
So we want to teach people, like not just kids, ourselves, to be positive and think positive. But you cannot beat yourself up when you feel negative.
Because life
Exactly.
happens.
Exactly.
Shit is gonna
Life
happen.
happens.
So, and
Yes.
it is about
Yeah.
balance. It's 100% about balance. It's not about. So when and if somebody sees me in a negative light, like if I'm just like I have a blow up, or if I'm just like, oh my God, I'm this, I'm that, or I'm saying that, they're like, oh my God, you're supposed to be positive all the time. I want to punch you in the face.
That's what happens to me. I'm like,
that is not
Right.
the truth. I don't want to teach my kids that. I don't want to.
So you want me to be this very Barbie
Yes.
princess robot
Yes.
where I don't feel.
The very thing that put me
No.
into
No,
depression.
right.
Yeah.
Because you need the tools. What we want, I would think, our kids to have and everything else is the tools to know how to navigate through all the emotions that they're going to feel.
Exactly.
Because you are going to wake up negative, and that's okay. Sit negative. Like I tell my kids, or my youngest now, you can have a couple days. Be in your room, do nothing, disappear. But at some point, you
can't
do
stay
have
in
to
it.
start slowly bringing yourself out of it, whatever that may look like.
Yeah,
Grounding, meditation, watching your favorite show,
Writing a
eating
journal
your
like
favorite
we
food,
said.
journaling, punching
Yeah.
something.
That's why
But
I
I
love
think that it's
boxing.
important that we do go through all those emotions for sure, because that
It's
is
not
so
realistic.
true. It's
to-
not realistic.
And
You
then,
have to be
then you're putting on
perfect.
these expectations on yourself that you can't even meet
Right,
because
you can't
nobody can meet those
Right.
expectations.
That's right.
Right.
I sit with myself. I ask myself, okay, what is this? Why is this hurting you? Instead of projecting it onto somebody else, like they made me feel. Nope, no. The little girl in me got
Yes.
conditioned somewhere along the way.
That's what I'm going through right
And
now.
yes.
I gotta learn that part.
That's right.
there.
And you
It's that
do.
it's not.
You
It's
do.
it's the little girl in you that you have to be
Yes.
like, you're okay. Like you're all right. This is triggering you, but you're okay. Because that
That's that
conditioning.
inner child.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
So
that
this is what I'm
child work.
saying. Like you have to, when things happen like to most women, I don't know, like you said, they go through depression and stuff, all of that. I say you have to be alone for at least an hour. Take a day trip. Do something
Yeah,
by
we
yourself.
spoke on
I
that.
feel like that's subjective. And the only reason why I say that right there, like I hear what you're saying, but everybody has their ways of
Coping.
like that's what you think that people should be home, be by yourself for an hour.
No, you could be in the
But
house
maybe,
too.
But maybe somebody else that's not making them feel good. Maybe they down
They need to be
spiral in
around,
that
yeah.
kind of
environment.
I think it's more like process however you're going to process. Like
True. True.
but
Yes.
everybody doesn't have the same like coping.
Yeah.
So you were talking about depression and thanks for
Yes.
being vulnerable.
Yeah.
But can you talk about like what that looked like and what are some of the maybe even if you don't want to talk about what caused it, but what that kind of looked like a little bit and then how you were able to get out of that?
Okay. So in 2014, I was going back and forth with weight gain, and I was telling the doctor something's wrong. I'm tired all the time, and of course they looked at it as like premenopause, whatever. Oh, you're 40 now. I was like, what? So they did blood work for my thyroid. My mom had something wrong with her thyroid, so I made them keep checking it. Blood work showed nothing. Your levels are good, whatever. I ran a half marathon with my friends in September of 14. And after that, I could not move my arm. My whole neck was bad. I had, long story short, I had to get an MRI that showed a mass on my thyroid. So I had to get my thyroid removed at the beginning of 15. And then it just was not being able to regulate it, being exhausted, all my hormones in a
Because your thyroid
frenzy.
regulates. Oh my God, so
Oh,
much,
yeah.
everything.
And once one hormone is off, usually they all, So anyway, my weight up, down, and everybody would be like, just go work out, or you don't have the energy to do that. So I went into a depression, and I mean, I didn't want to be seen. I didn't, because my whole life I was taught vanity was important, right? And so now
Yes,
I wasn't
it's
this
true.
little skinny.
Are
stick
you
figure.
Hispanic?
No.
No. Okay.
Italian?
No.
With that last
I know
name?
this conversation.
Well, no, we won't. I was just wondering
Yeah, no.
because I know that is, and
It
that's
is.
what
It's
I am.
embedded in us.
You do kind of
Oh,
look
yeah.
it like I'm
oh
sure
no,
you
I
get that.
always get
Yeah.
that.
No, but
Always,
what you're
always.
saying is true. It's embedded in Spanish women. You have to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I was
Perfect.
asking because I
Yeah.
know
And
that
that's
for
what.
men.
And your
Yes.
moms have to. They brainwash you that you have to look certain way. And I was like, I don't
Some
care.
moms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I grew
And
up in
they
South
force
Philly,
you.
which is all Italian, right? So if,
Yes.
we were raised like Italians, so we live like Italians, but we're actually German, mostly English. English. I don't know why that is. English, Scotland, Ireland, like all
Oh,
the.
wow.
When I did
Yeah.
my DNA
European.
test, I was like, "What the?
Yeah.
What's this? I don't even look like my family."
Right.
So I was convinced that I was not my mom's child.
Right.
But anyway, so yeah,
Sorry.
that's it.
So
No,
you got
that's
your-
okay.
Get you off.
So I fell into this depression. I mean, if you took a picture of me and posted it, you would be dead. Like I really was so off the chains, like just a mess.
And how did that
And
affect your life? in every aspect, like your motherhood, your marriage, all that stuff.
Everything. And what I didn't realize is what I was showing my daughter. My daughter was seeing me so unhappy with myself, and that like led to some of her conditioning issues, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I just at one point was just like, I can't do it. I can't do this anymore. And I really think that weight and depression is your body telling you you're not living your authentic life. There's something going on here that we don't agree with. And so I figured it out. I had to, the one thing that did it for me was, it was, I don't know, I was like 2019 in that area. And I was so upset and internalizing everything. Like people I was getting misunderstood because I was having these lashing moments. And because I felt like, this is the strangest thing, but I'm going to say it. Some people enjoyed me being like that. Some people enjoyed that. And that really hurt me so bad.
I agreed.
And one day I found myself laying on my bathroom tile, hysterical crying. And I was just like, Maria, nobody's gonna save you.
Yeah, no one.
This is it. You have to be your own best friend. Stop doing everything for everyone else and figure this out on your own. So I had to go after the doctors. I didn't listen to anybody anymore. I did what I thought was right for me, and I pulled myself out of it any way I could.
Right.
Now, how did your life change after?
Look at her now.
I have zero fucks to give. Zero. And everyone knows that about me now, which I love because you can't touch me. You can't.
So did you lose people along that?
Yes, that's why I said it's not a loss.
Yeah.
It's not
a loss. That's why I said.
You know, I lost people. No, whatever. I got rid of people, however you want to say it, eliminated people, and then I put people where they belong.
Right.
And they could still be in my life, but they're not going to take up
You
my
know
time.
exactly where they are.
Absolutely. There's no way I'm going to give my energy anymore to anything that does not keep my vibration high.
Yep.
Thank you.
Amen.
So we are literally a vibration.
Yes, we are.
And I'm now vibing and no one's touching it. I can tell you that.
And I've learned
I
that
so love
you
that.
have to, you cannot be around people in lower vibrations because sooner or later, it's gonna it's not like a little parasite, but it goes a little touch and then.
Well, energy is transferred, so it
So I'm like, nah. That's why you said I'm a blocker. I'm like, I'm like block him mentally,
Right. And it does
mentally. I'm like, nope.
But if it does, I have to say this again, if it affects you on a different level, like if you're blocking them and you're annoyed by it, you know, that's like drinking poison and expecting them to die, right? You're drinking the poison. You're the one hurting. You're lowering your vibe. And
oh no, that's
they
why
might be
exactly
gone.
at
Still
the
feeling-
second.
yeah, 'cause you're
no,
still
when they
feeling
even say
that.
something, I already feel the energy. But when they say something out of character, that's why I'm like, and I tell them in the face, I'm blocking your energy, and they're like, oh shit, here she comes with her booty shit. I'm like, you're done. You know, because I was like, oh, it's like I'm blocking your ass. Like
so now you look at, you know, now being as though you're in your 40s. Okay. And you look back, what would you tell your younger self? Because I know you said that your daughter has some conditioning too. Like, you know, it's just how it is.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
she's doing her own healing journey now too. My biggest message to myself, and this is going to sound corny, like Dr. Seuss, but stop trying to fit in when you were born to stand out.
Yeah.
You were not born to fit in and mesh with everyone. You're born to bring what your gift is to this world.
Yeah.
Be that, you know, and
Your authentic self. Yeah.
and what I did my whole life was I let people dim my shine. And I know that's so cliche to say, but I let people tell me,
Where you fit.
tone it down.
Yeah.
No, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to do this. No, I'm supposed to be me. I'm supposed to bring my gift to the world. And that's what I do now. And there's nothing you can do. So to my younger self, exactly that. Don't let anybody dim your shine and stop trying to fit in places you don't belong.
I love
Yeah.
that.
You are not here to be average.
Right. Right.
Amen.
That is a strong
I
message.
love that.
A strong,
Yes.
strong message.
Now she better listen.
Now, okay, so what do you think is the most, I mean, we kind of talked a little bit about this, but what do you think is the most important tool for all humans to carry? Just like, you know, maybe if it's not just one, but a couple things that people should all have.
Obviously, self-awareness, personal power. It's knowing what takes your energy and being able to hold on to your own energy and self-assess, catching yourself being a hypocrite, you know? Like when I'm driving behind somebody who has their turn signal on for 5 minutes and I'm like, what the hell are you doing? I then go, Maria, you've been in the car where you've had your turn signal on and not knowing you're good. I drive like a hot mess, so I don't get mad at anybody anymore. And then when I do, what I learned to do is laugh at myself. That's the biggest thing. Is to laugh at the hypocrisy, you know?
Well, I think part of that is, and that's something that Liz and I both, we feel strong about this, is giving people grace.
Yes.
Because sometimes we don't give people enough grace, and then we're in that same boat and we want a person to give us grace.
That's right. That's right.
And
That's
sometimes
exactly
it's
what
the
I
same
mean.
story with a different title, but because it's not our title, we want to judge the other person.
Right.
And it's, you know, when you really sit down, it really is similar. And if it's okay for us to go through, we have our reasons.
Yes.
We need to be open-minded and give people grace. So
Yeah.
yeah, me and Jamie definitely are on that.
Right.
That's my biggest thing. You know, I feel like it's
Yeah.
the only reason why I have a better relationship with my kids. It's the only reason why my husband and I have made it 20 years. It's the only reason why I do have friendships that have sustained time. It's like grace. Like it's just a matter of just grace.
Because we're all going to do things that people
And that
aren't
doesn't
gonna
mean,
like.
like you said, that doesn't mean you don't put the people where they need to be.
Yeah,
You know, but just understand that their story is their story, and you know, you don't have to
you're a
judge them
reflection.
on it. And
You're reflecting their own insecurities,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
Oh, why do you have to wear makeup?
Why not?
Yeah, because it's who I am.
Right.
And what I'm reflecting to you is that you don't wear makeup or you don't feel pretty.
Right.
That's not my problem.
Right.
And I'm not going to diss you for it. But I do give people grace in those moments.
Yeah.
Now. So I'm just like, your insecurity
Right.
is not
Yeah.
not going to take my
Right.
energy.
Yeah, I have a
Right.
friend who, or I'll say associate, who would always talk about people. And we people watch, and not to say that, you know, you can talk about people and like, oh my God, what the heck are
In
they
a
wearing? You
joking
know,
way.
like,
Yeah.
but she would always find a reason to say something about somebody.
Because she
you know,
doesn't
oh,
want
look at,
no energy on herself.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's so many things that she was insecure about, and I didn't realize it then, but like over the years, I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what she, you know, she was just insecure
And we
about
could
herself.
fall in that. We could fall in
Yeah.
that. Like if I find myself now saying something about somebody, I'm just like, whoop, bring it right
Bring it
back,
back, yeah.
right to me. I'm like, okay, well, you know, what is it about me, or why do I need to talk about this person right now? I don't want to be talked about. I don't want to sit at tables where I'm being talked about.
Yes.
And I don't want to talk about people.
Yeah.
If something that you're doing is upsetting me, I better look at me.
Right.
Because what you're doing is like say, people come to me with the same issue all the time, low self-esteem or whatever, you know, letting somebody get away with it, or people pleasing and not learning from it. And I get really annoyed because I'm like, how long are you going to do it before you do something about it?
Yeah.
But now I look and I just say, I gotta let you go. I'm not gonna give you that energy of mine anymore because you're not doing anything to change it.
Yeah.
And I check myself. Am I doing something to change it? Why am I so annoyed at you? I better look here. And that's it. That's what personal power is. I don't have power over you. I can't make you
Exactly.
think any way of me. You know?
Yeah.
Well,
because
how
we
you
like to
think of
project
me
our
is a
own thoughts
reflection
on
of you.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always a reflection of you.
So how do you connect, like, or how do you realize whether or not you're connecting with your audience or whether you're not? Because I know you do Zooms.
Yeah.
Right. And then
Yes.
and I'm constantly
Zooms are tough.
yes.
Yeah.
I train Zooms all the time, and sometimes people turn their screens off. So now I have a rule where screens are on, and I was the one being in a Zoom with my screen off, or like I'm
Check
not
yourself
listening to
then.
this.
You know?
I'm like, yes, and
That's
I'm like,
good.
and I totally understand, and so I'm just transparent. I'm like, listen, I understand that you guys don't want to be here. I was you at one point, and so I didn't want to hear myself talk
You
either.
relate to them.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, but unfortunately, this is how it is. You're going to insult me if you don't have your screen on, you know? So, how do you
So in a
navigate that?
live audience, you know, I read people, right? So I could tell. But what I try to do is be funny. I mean, I don't have to try. No, I'm just kidding. I like laughter, and I like when I can get people to where they are comfortable, and so I can tell that they're engaged if they're laughing, or when they're looking at me in a serious where at least they're looking at
Like
me and I say,
validating, yeah, by
do
their
whatever
body
you want with
language.
your face. It used to
Yes.
bother me. It used to bother me when someone was like real serious, and I would be like, they hate me, you know, like I was making it about me.
Because you don't know how you look, you know, to other people.
Exactly. So I gauge that by Are they really paying attention? Do I really feel like they're getting something from it? I'm a good reader when it comes to people, so I can usually tell. And then if they're not looking at me, if they're looking at their phone or doing all that, obviously I'm going to be, not upset, but I'm going to amp it up a little bit. I'm going to change something here and not be like,
Right.
you're not listening.
But that's I think that's what a good speaker, a good trainer does.
Yes.
They
read the room.
You're paying attention, because I've been in spaces where you have a trainer who is not even paying attention to, like, they're just speaking, and it's like they're not engaging with their audience.
Yes.
And the message doesn't hit
Right.
doesn't hit home.
And you know what I used to do? I used to expect that message to hit for every single person in the room. No,
It's
it
not
doesn't
gonna happen.
You know the
that was
saying
going
when
to be my question. If you have, and you can finish.
no, I was
first,
just going to say, when the student's ready, the teacher appears. That means, like, if you're not ready to learn something, you're not listening. That could be
Right.
funnier than anybody. It's not going to matter.
Right.
Go
So I
ahead.
was going to ask, do you find success in when you're looking out into your audience, as long as you're reaching 20% of the audience, so you're like, all right, the other 80, like, it's fine, but those 20%, that's who I'm speaking
Yes.
to.
Yeah.
Is
You
that
just come
kind
to
of
do what you got to do, and
yeah.
then that's it.
You're right.
Yeah.
Though. The 80-20
Yeah.
rule is big, and only 20% of the people are going to change who they are and what
Yes.
they are. So 20% of the world. The rest of the people are just going to fall into
suck
line.
into
Like,
their-
yes.
20%.
Yes.
No.
You're the 20. That's actually one of the things I used to do in my trainings. I used to be like, are you the 80 or are you the 20?
Right.
And I ask myself that all the time.
So I teach waxing. So when I go away to teach, that Jamie knows, I have the same. It's only 10 students.
Yeah.
But when you get a new class, it's exactly same students show up in different bodies, obviously, and you look at them like, yeah, I know how to deal with you. I know how to deal with you. I'm sorry. And
You're reading the.
I say,
you're
listen,
observing.
mommy,
Yeah.
you're here to learn. If you don't want to learn, it's okay. You're wasting your money. You're still going to be here the 8 hours with me. So either you learn something or you go back and then you burn somebody.
Especially if you're paying for something.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You're paying for a class, and then you're making the other students uncomfortable because you're on the phone. So I have a rule: no phones, nothing, and I make sure I engage. I make you read while I'm reading. Like, read for me. When you're not engagement, I make you get engaged. You like it or not. It's not like being
Oof,
bossy.
I just had a Catholic school flashback.
No, you know what? But no, not hitting them. It's like, I need you
Get
to
that
interact
ruler.
with me, because I don't know if you at least have the concept
you're
of
right.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because I'm more
But those are all
concerned.
ways to engage your audience, to have them read things.
But I don't want them to go
Yeah.
hurt somebody. Like, it's like, oh, yeah, my name is on the certification. Yeah, I learned from that. And then she goes, and it's like, oh, that teacher, yeah, this is what you
But
teach
there's
me.
things that you can't control.
No,
and
that
that's
I
how you
understand.
wanna
But while they're
Yeah.
there with me for 2 days,
you're going
you're going to learn today. You know, like I heard you're going to learn today. You like it or not. And that's where the bossiness comes.
And
Like,
that is what they signed up for. They're signing up to learn
exactly.
something. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
would think that everyone is really there to learn. And
no, they're not.
We go through it, and you just have to let people be exactly where they
Yeah.
are.
Oh, the second
I
day
have
I
to
let them.
say
The
that-
first day I don't, but the second day I'm like, I don't care if you learn or not.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
Seriously.
I'm that person where it's like impulsively I'll sign up for something when I'm in the mood for it,
I can
and
see
then
that.
I'll show up and I'm like, I'm
What am
not
I
in the mood for
doing?
this mess.
And
Like,
that's the
so
I.
right, so I'll
That's
be
the
in the
I.
back of the room, but I will say, that one, a good speaker will grab my attention and bring me back into that space on why I'm here.
Yeah.
But on the other side of that, sometimes I could take like maybe 5% of what somebody's saying, even though I might be there for like an hour. But there's been things and times where I've definitely have signed up for stuff impulsively, shown up, and then just totally been
I can so see that. Because she'll text me like, "Hey, so all right, we're talking about business venture." She's
Yeah,
like,
I'm like,
"So what about this?" And
I like
just
throw all these stuff
"Oh
out.
no, I can't do that, girl." She's like, "Come on."
And then when it comes down to the training, I might be like,
Yeah. I don't
you know what, you're right. You know, I need to.
Something's got to speak to you. That comes in disc as well. You know, if somebody's a boring speaker, I'm out. I don't, and I'm a speaker. Like I will die. I will die.
Yeah.
Even a friend. Like, you tell me that story one more time.
Oh my God.
Disengage.
Do
You know
think
what I
that
say?
that
Every time I
also-
say, like, listen, you told me a story like 10 times already. You want me to hear it again? Oh, that's why I said I don't have the patience. Like, I'm like, again, the same story. Like,
Damn estrogen
you
levels.
already
I do
told
it with
You
me.
told me.
My sister will call me. She'll be, she might listen to this. She'll call me. She'll be like, I made eggs for breakfast.
Okay.
I made Fabio, her husband, I made him this. And she's telling me everything. And, my stomach's been bothering me. Mother of God. What the hell? I don't have
tired.
I don't have.
That's Mariah coming up.
I don't have it in me. I don't have it in me.
girl, what's
I
wrong
got,
with
it's
you?
like, I got another call. Call you right back.
I said, ooh, I gotta
How many times have we done that?
Oh
Like,
no, you know, it's like, listen, I'll call you back. I really have to go.
Oh, yeah.
I have to go to the bathroom.
You know, sometimes that just, I'm off
I have to go to the bathroom, Mike. I
Sometimes
really
that
have
just serves as you're comforting her, you
Yeah.
know, and that's the thing. Like, I also
And that's
understand.
why I allow it.
Yeah, like it's like, okay, like we do have to protect our energy and stuff, but sometimes we do have to put that aside and show up for the people who
Yeah.
we
because
want to
people
show
might
up
find
for
comfort in
because-
you
Yes.
because maybe you have all the answers.
Right.
And
But
they
you
feel
know,
like you
lately
do.
what me and
Yeah.
my best friend will do a lot is, you know, I'm going through something. Do you have the capability up to today to listen to me?
Absolutely.
You know, because sometimes things are heavy and
Yes.
she doesn't know what I went through on that Sunday.
such
So
a
instead
nice
of just
question.
calling
It
and
is.
being like,
Yeah.
like literally unloading
Girl,
her
let me tell you
load on
something.
me,
Yeah.
she will say, well, first, are you busy? You know, and she'll say, you know, are you capable? Do you have the capacity for me
listen.
to,
I
yeah,
like
for
that.
me to
I
have this
love that.
conversation?
I
I'm
love
trying
that.
to get it into my daughter, but now it's kind of like what we do is, do you want, what is the question?
I'm sorry. How old is your daughter?
Jada now is 19. She'll be
Oh,
20
forget
in
it. Wait
September.
until she's 30.
Yeah, but like
I'm
it's like
telling
that.
you.
It's like that same thing. Are you venting? Do you want help? Because
What do you want from me?
Right.
What are you
Because
expecting
I go
from
straight
me?
into mom mode. We gonna fix it. And
Right.
sometimes she's like, I don't want to hear the lesson in it. I just want to vent.
You want the shoulder? You want the ear?
Yeah.
What do you want? Do you want
That's
the
a struggle
tissues?
for
Yeah.
me too, though.
And it's always a question you could ask. Just tell me what you need
Yeah.
from me.
Yeah, but then you have
You
to
need-
come through, and that's the problem. Where for me, because you know you're Maria, my mama, I'm like, hold on, well, this is what we could do because I could be a little toxic, you know, a little, but you know, so it's like those type of things, the self awareness and everything. Like, you know, I think especially now, me being where we are and we're learning, and we all are in the space of where we are way better than where we were in our 20s and our 30s.
yes.
I'm
I
trying to
think
teach
I'm
my
like that.
daughters
I thought
that, you know, and even my son and even, you know, everybody, like, this is what it is and this is why it is. But I don't think they're ready for that message
Well,
yet.
were you at their age?
No.
Right.
And that's
So-
where the grace comes in.
and that is where the grace has to come in because
Yeah.
you're not going to, you're
Yeah.
wasting your personal power
I know.
on trying to make them heal and learn
they're
their
not there.
lesson.
They're not
And
there.
I did it with my daughter.
And the
can't
thing
make
is,
her heal. I
Right.
can't.
It doesn't
kills me.
help
Right.
when
Yeah.
we was raised at that age. It's totally different this world with social
Yeah.
media, with all of this. So when you like, it's a whole different culture. I think now.
Oh, yeah, that plays a major,
That's
major
exactly
role.
when we were raised. We didn't have TikTok, social media, Facebook. We had.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys. When I was growing up, High Five. You know, remember High 5? That's what was in the
I
islands.
wasn't allowed to be on.
On High Five. So that's how you contact with people. So it wasn't. So that's a big
Yeah,
thing.
no, it does. It does
does.
play a
My
part
daughter's
into it.
29, and I look at her and I'm like, we're so different. Me at 29, she at 29. I'm like,
Yeah.
I even called James sometimes like, I don't know what to do. She's driving me nuts. She's 29, love her, but sometimes she acts like she's 15.
I'm like, girl,
Well,
stop
speaking of
stop
that-
enabling.
Yeah, like,
And that's what
enabling.
she was like, but I'm like, but I don't know. And then
know,
that's
it's
when I
hard.
started the last 2 months. I'm like, figure it out.
Figure it out. Yeah.
Figure it
Because a
out.
lot of times
You have
we're
to let
trying to
it
be the
fail.
parent we didn't have.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we can't
The
do
one
it.
that knows all the things that we know
Yes,
now, and
and
we're
it
like, okay, no,
doesn't
this
work.
is how you do it. This is how you do it, and they got to figure it out.
What
I've
is the
learned it.
age range of, I'll say, women in your audience? Do you have a specific age range, or does
Yeah,
it? Is
I
it
think now it's like 40 and above.
yeah.
But I do work with some younger
Mhm.
women. They're just not. That's not going to be that.
Not as
maybe
receptive to-
20%.
yeah, yeah.
20.
Yeah.
Very receptive when they're receptive. You know, like they,
Right.
they get it.
Right.
Usually women with self-esteem issues.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then what I'm learning now is, again, your vibe attracts your tribe. Now I'm getting powerhouses. People come in and like, oh, I see what you got. I see what you got going,
Yeah.
and I want it. Like I want it.
Exactly.
So,
And
which
that's it.
leads me to because we're wrapping up. So, what would you if someone wants to do what you do,
Mhm.
right, or even in that kind of field, what would you recommend them do? What do they have to
Wow.
follow? Is there any kind of maybe
So-
a particular school?
So there's a lot of like certification courses and things like that. But if you don't do the self work, I'm sorry, you could go to school for psychology.
Yes.
You could be psychotic. So,
Yes. And usually
Yeah,
that's
very
how they
true.
are.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So if without, I would say start with self awareness. Period. Like
Okay.
all of your coping mechanisms that you learned as a kid. You know, one of my coping mechanisms is to pull myself out of something. You know, pull away from people and heal on my own. That's a horrible thing to do. Like, you know, when I have so many people around me. But yeah, that's a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
You know, when we didn't have
That's
parents.
like me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When our parents weren't emotionally there for us, supportive, whatever, and we had to learn as a child to handle our emotional stress on our own, whether it was crying in a bedroom at like slow songs or taking a walk or doing, you know, healing on your own, hurting on your own, then we do the same thing as an adult. And
especially, I feel like if you have nobody else to follow, like I was like the older sibling.
So it's like your inner child.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So with the self-awareness, then what else? Like, are there any?
So there's a lot of certification courses, even in this area. There's a lot. I would definitely start with any kind of personal development learning you could do, books, podcasts, you know, all
Things
of
like
that stuff, and do the inner work. That way you can help somebody. You can recognize who needs the inner work. And again, do I have a degree? I don't have a degree, but guess what? I'm highly qualified. So I never considered myself highly qualified. When I went to work for the colleges, they asked me, I think it was Mercer County College, said to me, well, why didn't you get your degree? I said, because I was a mother and I didn't have the money. I was a single mom and, you know, I just didn't ever do it. And I left there and I said, they're not going to hire me because it's a college. Why would a college hire somebody
who doesn't
who didn't go to college? Right? Guess what?
They did.
They did.
And because it wasn't about that. It was about what they saw in you. It was about
what I was bringing to the table. And now I know what I bring to the table. And I will sit there alone all day. I'm good. I'm good.
I love that. So what do you have going on right now? Is there any well, I know something coming up next week.
Yes. So Thursday night, if you guys are free, come. It is at La Scala in Marlton. It's
New Jersey,
girlfriend, in Jersey. Girlfriend therapy happy hour. And it's like some old school music and networking. You know, you can meet people, whatever. But we did that. We did our first one in November. Huge success, like 150 people.
Oh, wow.
And that's what we're going to have again.
So I guess that's a date, ladies?
Yeah.
Can we make it?
Yeah. I think so.
Let me know and I'll put you on there. I'll put you on this.
Yes.
The March 6th is International Women's Day. Well, it's the 8th, but on the 6th at Collingswood Grand Ballroom, I do a big event there with vendors, speakers, a comedian. Like it's a good time, and that usually gets close to 200 people. That it's just like a woman empowerment event. You could go shopping, whatever, and dance at the end of the night. It's fun.
Okay. And how can they get in contact with you if someone is interested in
okay,
going
so
to this or following you? Or
Maria Grande LLC is my business, so you can look that up. My MariaGrandeLLC.com is my website. I'm on all social media platforms, so you can find me anywhere.
Okay.
Really, I'm sure Google. I never Google myself, but I'm sure I come up. I must come up now.
I'm gonna try to Google yourself. I'm gonna try to see what shows up. And then we're gonna, when we drop the episode, we're gonna make sure we have all her information in there. So, it was a pleasure.
Absolute
Thank
pleasure.
you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you
I
so
hope
much.
you guys got something that, you know, some kind of tool that you guys can utilize, especially when you're, you know, feeling away, right? Or you can hit Dejana up and go to the islands.
You're welcome to come. I keep telling these ladies when I leave, come.
We're waiting for you to get the plane tickets together.
Well, I have the place, but I was to get just the ticket. I have the
Get one of them
place.
sugar daddies now playing.
I wish. You got anyone? Where are they at?
Look at the sugar daddy's cake.
I never had one, but I'm looking for one.
watching.
Yeah, thank
Subscribe,
you.
comment,
Yeah,
share.
Happy New Year.
Yes, follow.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Our
follow
lovely guests.
us.
All right, it was a pleasure to see you guys.
Bye.